Welcome back to Behind the Vocals. This week we are joined by the one and only Tyler Miller of The Art is Murder. It's an amazing episode. We talk about all things from being a Tennessean, our accents, as well as local bands, albums. We go into tour stories, vocals, lyrics, and much, much more. It's an amazing episode. I had a blast chatting with Tyler. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right, we are joined by the one and only Mr. Tyler Miller of The Art is Murder. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. It is nice to have somebody with a Tennessee accent on here again, because I feel like I'm always the one with the bad Southern accent. I don't notice it, I guess, because I'm a Tennessean, so it's normal for me.
Yeah.
But I definitely know other people notice it too. Like I know they hear the drawl.
I was literally thinking about that just a second ago, because you say you're from outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, it's like he's not going to say anything about my accent. Literally everywhere else I go in the world, it was like, "Oh, where are you from?"
Yeah,
I've had so many people from Australia, but I'm like, no, I don't think I sound like an Australian at all. I guess you could say like I always think of an Australian accent as like a Southern British accent or something. I don't know. I don't know.
It's completely different. It's wild.
Yeah.
We were just talking about, I have some family in Australia, and when they come in with their accent, I love it. It's awesome, but some of the stuff they say and the way they say their words, it makes it worse that they're actually from Louisiana originally and then went to Australia, so they have like this Cajun/Australian accent hybrid thing going on. So it's chaotic.
That sounds wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever we on our tours and stuff, we bring along our media guy Kim, and I literally can't say anything to him without him repeating something back to me in an accent. He's German with an Australian English accent. So like he tries to replicate the Southern accent, and it sounds so bad. But I can't like say anything without him like repeating something back to me.
Do you think your accent sounds bad? Like, especially when you hear like other accents and stuff?
I don't know. I mean, when I was growing up, I was kind of like I didn't want to be super country. I've been told that I have a good speaking voice, but at this point, at this like point in my age, I'm almost 35 years old. I'm like, I don't care, dude. I live in Tennessee. I'm just going to embrace it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't like listening to myself talk. If I hear my voice in the background of something, I'm like, dude.
Like I said, I think I've just got used to mine and my draw. Like, I'll hear like someone from like Georgia or somewhere else. I'm like, wow, I hear the Southern accent there, but like around here, I don't hear it too bad most of the times. But you know, it is what it is. I'm kind of like you. I've just embraced it, and I just go with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but what I like to do to start the episodes is I just like to give you the floor and let you kind of introduce yourself for those that may not be as familiar or maybe want to know more about you. So if you will, just give us a little introduction.
All right. What's up, everybody? My name is Tyler Miller. I am the vocalist of The Art is Murder, ex-vocalist of Aversion's Crown, and I also played in a local band back in the day called The Guild in Knoxville, Tennessee. But I'm stoked to be here and talk to you guys and just let you guys get to know me just a little bit better. I feel like I don't do a lot of interviews. I haven't done a lot of interviews since I've been in the band, so I would like to change that in this like upcoming year. It's kind of like a new resolution for this like next tour. I'm going to try to like be more active on socials and stuff like that. So to be more interactive, because I kind of stay hidden a little bit. I guess I don't show too much of like what's going on in my life. I might show a little bit of my family, but that's about it. A little bit of family. I might post a band post here and there, but like other than that, I don't really like reveal myself too often. So that's a big goal, is to like let you guys know me just a little bit better, and hopefully I can do more interviews like this in the future.
Okay.
But yeah.
Nice. Is that just, you just want to keep them separate? Is that kind of like the mindset? You just keep like personal and like band, like work, if you will?
Yeah, I would rather just like, I don't want really anybody knowing about my personal life. I mean, I'll post about my wife or my daughter because I love them, but other than that, like as far as, I just want people to know that I love them and care about them. They don't need to know anything else about my life.
Yeah, I think it's a good healthy balance too. You know, like kind of doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Also, that you can tell he's from Tennessee by that lovely background. It looks like, the lovely woods up there.
Dude, I wish Tennessee looked more like this. Tennessee is beautiful. Like I live in the Smoky Mountain area. I don't know. Is Nashville? No, it's not. It's not. It wouldn't be
Mm-mm.
anywhere near
No.
Smoky Mountains. But yeah, like I live like right by the Smoky Mountains. So I guess if you walked out into the woods, you
There's
might come across
spots.
something like this,
Yeah.
something
There's
like this, or maybe even something like
Uh-oh.
what is this? What is it? Yeah,
The
you're on the side of a. I'm
mushroom
either
house.
yeah, I'm a hobbit. This is a hobbit hole. It's a mushroom. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna stick with this for right now. Okay. Now I'm in a hobbit hole with a mushroom ceiling.
Just traveling all around. You brought up the guild, and I wanted to say something about them. We were chatting the other
Yeah.
day, getting ready for this, and we talked
Oh, you
about
talked
you
to
being in
Mark?
the guild and knowing Richie. Shout out to Richie and Patrick. Used to play
Yeah.
shows with them back in the day. Awesome guys. They were in a band. I'm trying to think of the vocalist's name. I think his name was Steven for A Body Divided.
Sam Stevens. Yeah. I
It
remember
was
him. Sam.
okay. So you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah. And we
Were
used
you
to play
talking
shows with him.
about
I have a
him?
Body Divided shirt. I should have wore it today just for giggles. It's in like my memorabilia merch where I've played with bands over the years and kept.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a small world playing with.
I faintly remember like their band logo, the Body Divided band logo.
That was. I don't remember how long they went. Patrick wasn't a drummer though. He was a guitar player then.
Yeah, he played guitar in that band.
I don't remember who their drummer was. I know it was him and Richie playing guitar, and then I don't.
It was a guy named Cedric.
Cedric. Okay. It's been God, dude. That had to be what 2011, 2012, maybe.
Probably somewhere around there because their band and then my band. I was in a band. I played guitar in a band called East Old Topside, and I think we both quit in like the 2014, 2015 area, somewhere around in there, and then like we got together and decided to make the guild, and that's where I decided to just start doing vocals
Nice.
in a project. So that's where it all started for me.
All right, and that's a perfect segue on how long have you been doing vocals?
I've been doing vocals probably for. I've probably been. I want to say at least 10 years. I know a little more than 10 years because like before I was a vocalist in a band. I was like I would practice them on the side in my car, like where any other vocalist. That's like their home base as far as practice goes is in their car. Unless you're doing like I guess vocal covers and stuff and practice them in your room nowadays, whatever. But it was always in the car, and I would post little videos and snippets and stuff and put them on Facebook just for shits and giggles. But yeah, I even like back in high school, I vaguely remember myself. I was a really big Trivium fan, and I remember myself like trying to scream along to "Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation." You know that song? So I guess that was like the early days, but then I started taking it seriously around like 2011, 12 maybe. I started listening a lot to Fit for a King a lot. That's the Slave to Nothing album that they have. And that was like, I think every vocalist, when they're trying to learn how to do vocalists, they find somebody to emulate first.
Yeah.
And then they start finding their sound more as they continue their career. But Ryan Kirby, he was like a big influence for me whenever I was like starting to learn how to scream and like develop like my breath control and do all this other stuff. Like that album is just what I practiced along to relentlessly. And then as I started like enjoying like heavier and heavier music more and more, I like went from that and then gravitated to another band with Fit in it, Fit for an Autopsy. They were like probably still one of my favorite bands, but like they were like my favorite band for the longest time. And the vocalist Joe, he was a big influence on me, sound wise and lyrically and all that stuff. And then just developed from there. I feel like hopefully I would have at this point have my own sound. I know that I've been told that I sound like Joe. I've been told that I sound like a baby if Joe and then our previous vocalist had a baby, and then that would be my sound. But I mean, I have my current favorite vocalist is Ben Dewar from Shadow of Intent. I
Hmm.
would say he's probably like my main influence for like how I scream, especially live. Live, I do a lot of crazier sounding stuff live than you might have heard me on like this most recent album or like the latest song that we put out.
Hmm.
Um, I tried to add a couple of like cool sounding things in like the chorus of the last song, but yeah, I feel like I've definitely developed my own voice in the last like 10 years.
Yeah, that's important too. You kind of like it's something we talk about a lot on here. You know, it's definitely great to have influences and people that you emulate starting off. You know, learning like if you want to do lows, you know, Phil Bozeman or whoever. You know, um, Kirby, as you said, just the different styles and how they do it, like cadences or even their tone, their inflection, stuff like that. But it's good to develop your own, to take those influences and then make it into your own voice, because everybody's voice is going to be different. And the quicker you find what you do and your voice, you know, the better. Because we already have
Mhm.
a Kirby, we already have, you know, a Joe. It's like you said, you're like you made a baby, so now there's Tyler. So now everybody's gonna be like, well, I want to sound like Tyler, kind of thing. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
important.
guess over time I just took this and that from all other, just from different vocalists and stuff, and just I just throw it in there. Like I hear a lot of people complain about like if I'm not doing enough of something. It's not that I can't do it. It's just that I'm a big believer that it's you should do what the song calls for. I don't think you should be doing like the craziest sounding, most disgusting, inhuman animal noise at all times
Yeah.
throughout the song. Um, but yeah, I would say Ben Dewar is probably like my main influence vocally right now, as far as like he literally can do everything. The few shows that I've played with him over in Europe, everything that you hear him do on their albums, he does live. Even like anything background that's like thrown in, like he does not stop, and he sounds exactly the same live as he does on the album.
That's
It's
sick.
it's incredible.
Wow.
But like I've drawn a lot of like black. I try to do like a black metal sounding voice
Hmm.
live, and I try to throw it in on the last song. But I gained a lot of like black metal tone inspiration from him. A lot of my gutturals and stuff that I do will be based off of like how he does it and stuff. But I think he, as far as I'm concerned, I think he is the best death metal, deathcore vocalist around right now. He's incredible.
Okay. Nice. All right. So what inspired you to become a vocalist? I know you mentioned just kind of screaming along with your car on the side and everything, but what kind of like gave you that itch to I wanna dive
But
into it?
I guess at some point maybe I guess I thought that like, oh, it'd be cool to like do some backup vocals while I play guitar, which I did once. I filled in for a friend's band and I did some backup vocals. I sang a little bit and did some backup screams, but it was honestly just I had no plans of ever becoming a vocalist. I just was just learning to do it because I wanted to learn how to do it. Just wanted to develop a new skill,
Yeah.
kind of a random, random weird new skill to want to develop and not really use
Yeah.
aside from doing it inside your car. But I don't know. Uh, Over time, I was like, well, since I'm not playing guitar in a band anymore, maybe I'll put it to use. And then it was just good timing with like mine and a Body Divided's bands quitting, and then some of us getting together to make a new thing.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't like a big like I'm going to be a vocalist in a big band kind of thing. It's just I'm just going to learn something new, and then the pieces fit together, and I got to use it.
Oh yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Did you play any other instruments other than guitar?
Uh, I dabbled poorly in a bit of piano. Like I took two. I was a music business major in college for 2 semesters before I withdrew from the school. Um, so like my main instrument was classical guitar, and then secondary instrument was piano.
Okay.
I do have a piano in my living room right now. I got it like 2 years ago, and I was like actually like learning stuff and like learning how to play it decently. Like I'm no virtuoso, but like I have not played anything on that piano in probably like a year or so. Same guitar. I haven't touched my guitar in a long time. If I ever play guitar, it's usually like if the guys are warming up before the set, and I'll be like, "Hey, can I see it for a second?"
Nice. Do you miss it at all? Do you miss playing guitar or anything?
I do. I would really like to get just like some like mid-range priced guitar, and then maybe like one of those. Is it the Roland? Is it? I think they make the Cube. The practice amp. It's called the Cube. I don't know if Roland makes it or if it's somebody else, but I just know it's just a little practice amp about yay big, and it's called the Cube, and it's got all your effects and everything built into it.
Oh, that's cool.
I just want something like that, just so I can mess around some more. And I have an acoustic guitar in there that belonged to my nanny, which is my dad's mom. And I recently took the strings off of it, and I haven't put any strings back on it because I realized after all this time that it is a left-handed acoustic guitar that had been constantly restrung as a right-handed as a right-handed guitar.
Wow.
And like I didn't realize that until a couple of weeks ago, and it just like completely blew my mind. And I was so like upset like the rest of the day. I like didn't know what to do. I was like, how is this possible? I was like, there's so many things about this guitar that make it a right-handed guitar. But then you look down at the bridge and how it's angled, and then the nut at the top of the neck that holds the strings.
Yeah.
It's a nut for a left-handed guitar. So the space for the bigger space that holds the bigger string is on the opposite side. I was so distraught, but at this point I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to freaking restring it again as a right-handed guitar, and I guess it's just going to have to stay that way. But it literally blew my mind. I was so upset.
Oh man, that's wild. Okay, so guitar, a little bit of piano. I'm jealous. I've always wanted to learn piano. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like it can translate into so much if you can actually like understand and play piano well. Just all of that. Do you think?
I do.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I do know a good bit of like music theory and stuff, and like
Oh, awesome.
how to build scales and chords. Like I know how all that stuff works. So like once you can get used to like how your hands move on the keys, and then realize like where like everything restarts on the piano, it gets a lot easier. But knowing music theory definitely helped me out quite a bit on the piano, and I was able to like I learned how to play some Sleep Token stuff. No like full songs, but like I can learn enough to like play for people if they were around and stuff. And like if my wife's brother, he came over once, and like we were playing these songs from the movie The Greatest Showman. I don't know if you know that movie with Hugh Jackman. So we would find the chords, he would play guitar, and I would just play along with him on the piano.
Oh, that's cool.
And I also learned, I don't know if you're a One Piece guy, but
I haven't watched One Piece.
There's a song called Gold and Odin by them, or by it's on the One Piece soundtrack. It usually plays during like something sad or sentimental that's happening in the show. But I learned how to play a decent chunk of that as well. But like I said, I haven't touched it in like a year.
I haven't dove into One Piece just because that's the one with like over 1,000 episodes, right?
Right now, it's got like over 1,100 episodes.
Yeah, that's like so daunting for me. I'm just like I don't know. Like I would say I'm still a beginner in anime. Like I've watched several now, but I'm like am not versed in all of them. And One Piece is one that everybody talks about, and I'm just like, man, it's a lot of episodes. Like that's a lot of investment.
I started it when there was probably like 900 episodes, or they might have been in like the late 800s. Because by the time I got up to that point, I'm sure there was like more had come out, because it took me like over a year to catch up. But I'm all caught up now. I'm caught up on that, and I'm caught up on the manga too.
Nice.
The manga's a good bit. Not too far ahead, but it is like another arc ahead of the show right now.
Is it one of your favorite animes?
Yeah, like I don't watch too many animes. Like I don't really watch anything right now other than One Piece. I was watching like My Hero Academia. I watched most of Attack on Titan aside from like the last part of the final season, and I've seen the first two seasons in the first movie of Demon Slayer,
Mhm.
which I think is awesome. I've read all of the Demon Slayer manga. It was sick.
Yeah, that's
But aside
that
from that, I haven't.
was one of my introduction ones. Like I think obviously Dragon Ball Z, growing up like most like 13-year-olds or whatever, 12, however old I was, I found it on Toonami, right? Isn't that what used to come on like
Yeah,
Cartoon Network or
Cartoon
whatever?
Network. Yeah,
And I would watch it, got hooked on it, and then that was kind of it for me. I watched a couple Studio Ghibli movies, but then later on I got into I watched Death Note, and then I watched my wife and me started Attack on Titan, and we actually finished it. It took us a while to finish it because like seasons are happening, and then one of the seasons, I don't remember which one, kind of got a little boring to me. Like it kind of dropped off. It was like a lot of filler, I guess, if you will. And I
hmm
understand it was like important backstory, but I was just kind of like there was so much stuff that had been happening before, like so much action and like crazy things that one I was like, okay. And then it ended really pretty good. But Demon Slayer is one that really got me, and that's actually the first manga I've read. I read all of Demon Slayer, just because where we got in the anime, I couldn't. I was like, I gotta know. And then friends of mine were like, Yeah, I've read it. I know what happens. I was like, it's eating at me. I need to know what happens. So I read it,
yeah,
and
it's really good. Demon Slayer is good because there's no filler. It's just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
the most filler we have was the last season, which some people complained about, but it was like 8 episodes, and it was the Hashira training arc, and I
Yeah,
mean, I was like, that's really not that much filler. Like, there's still stuff going on. But I was like, that's all
yeah,
the filler you get from now on. Like those that haven't read the manga, like Infinity Castle's nonstop, so just get ready. It's gonna be balls to the wall like the whole time. It's
yeah,
really sick.
yeah. Infinity Castle's crazy.
Um, but nice. Okay, so learning to do vocals, was it just screaming in your car? Pretty much, is that just how trial and error? Did you look up videos?
Yeah.
Did you have the luxury of videos? Because a lot of us that have
Uh,
started, a decade ago, there was not the wealth of knowledge out there. The tutorials, the institutes. We had Zena screaming, if you're lucky enough to
yeah.
find that, and other than that, there really wasn't anything on the internet back then.
In like the mid to late 2000s, it's really, I mean, that's like the mid 2000s is like when YouTube like first came out. They're like, it was like baby. So like there really wasn't anything along those lines on there. And I did have the Zen of Screaming DVD. I mostly use it just to see like what techniques she used, I
Mhm.
guess, for like breath control, which I don't use any of them. Like it's my technique is as far as like when I'm warming up is so boring and just like there's nothing really to it. I would say it was everything was just done in my car. Um, I just taught myself in the car. I eventually learned that breath control was really important and good. But I luckily learned that early on.
Mhm.
So like most of my vocal career has really been like focused on like doing like sounding good and powerful while also focusing on your diaphragm. Like you scream from your diaphragm and control it. You control it with of course, your vocal cords, um, and then basically like how you're holding your tongue in the inside of your mouth.
Yeah.
There are certain screams where like it's more throat involved than like stomach involved, but um, I was very lucky to learn that early on. Is that like you will be better off if you learn your breath control early. It's the same process as like actually singing. Your breath control is all from your diaphragm.
Yeah. That's a lot of people think is just screaming like, a normal scream, like if you're yelling at somebody or something. And there's way more to it. There's way more technique to do it properly. I guess, I mean, you can do it that way, but you're definitely not going to go on long tours and make it if you're not using your diaphragm and you're doing it wrong.
There's a good middle ground between like I guess if you don't use your stomach and you just want to go all throat, then like you can just sound incredibly loud for a short amount of time, or you can find the middle ground where like you learn your breath control with your stomach. You might not sound as loud, but you can still sound powerful and still sound loud, not like
Yeah.
blow someone's head off. You have to find the middle ground there, so that you don't lose your voice when you're on tour or playing shows. Which I've never lost my voice.
Okay.
I think the closest I came was I guess when we played in China. I don't know what the deal was. It had to have been the weather. The only time something like that happens to me is like if the weather is weird. But like that last show that we played in China, like the next week, I was like talking like this. Like I was real. Like I could still talk. Like I could scream if I wanted to scream, but like it just was not good. I've never lost my voice to where I was not able to like perform a show. I think if that happens to you, then you need to take a step back and relearn something,
Okay.
analyze your technique a little bit.
What were some early mistakes you made when you were learning to do vocals? Was it just kind of like you said, trying to be too loud
Probably,
and pushing?
yeah, just too loud and pushing with your throat. That's like when I was in high school, listening to Trivium, and I was like, I really love this band, and I want to sing along, but they scream, but I'm gonna scream too. And then it was like, well, I guess this is how you scream with your throat. I didn't think anything about like using your diaphragm and stuff like that. But like, luckily, like I said, I learned that very early on. So like that was like I think that's really anybody's first mistake as a vocalist is not learning breath control
Yeah.
and like pushing with your diaphragm rather than your throat.
Yeah. It's you kind of talked about back then, like the Zenna screaming. I remember just trying to figure out how to do vocals, and it was kind of like mostly hearsay, but how somebody would say, well, I scream doing this, it doesn't necessarily apply or work for me because everybody's different, or it wouldn't click, and I would just be like, okay, that doesn't really make sense. But I remember just trying stuff and be like, okay, that kind of hurt, so I'm not going to do that again because that's a bad idea, or that
Yeah,
felt pretty good.
you do have to like develop some sort of like calluses on your vocal cords. The way that I scream is, I guess, what you would consider false chord
Yeah.
screaming. There's false chord, and then there is
Fry.
fry, which is like a good example of fry is Architects. Sam from Architects. Yeah, you're using your false chords, which I don't really know the science behind it, but yeah, you do develop a sort of callus, just like when you're playing guitar, you develop calluses on your fingers.
But yeah, definitely pushing too hard, just trying to be loud, like you said. That was definitely one of the ones that I did too.
Yeah,
The
trying to be
Zenna
loud,
screaming. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
just trying to be loud and trying to sound too brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching the Zenna screaming, and the first time I watched it, I was like, none of this makes any sense to me. Like, I just was like, I don't understand anything she's talking about. And then I went and we were jamming, and I was just like, well, I'm going to try this pencil trick she's talking about where it's like speaking over, like kind of throwing your voice over or whatever. And so the
Yeah, I
whole time I
remember
was like screaming, I was just trying to imagine there was a pencil in my mouth and doing it. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of got what she's talking about.
that.
Yeah.
Like adding distortion to your voice, like start like a e,
Yeah.
e, and it kind of just goes from there.
Yeah. But I was like, it's like the light bulb hit me. And I was like, okay. And then I used her warm ups to kind of like, which essentially they're just pretty much scales, just kind of like getting your throat activated and going. But
Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, yeah, it just applies to like warming up your vocal cords, because like if you just go out there and just go, then you're going to probably sound really dry. I just realized I was really far away.
you're way back in the Mushroom Kingdom back there.
um, yeah, the most that I do is from like the Zenna screaming is the it's like the jaw warm up where she's like the big face, little face, like the
Yeah.
or that wow.
The
I
stuff
think
you don't
that's
want anybody to see you do.
yeah, man, it is what it is. You got to do it. That is number one important for me, because if you listen to a The Artist Murder song, it's the vocals are nonstop. The songs are fast, and it's very fast paced music, and the vocals are nonstop most of the time. So like I've got to make sure that I can like blah, 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 and like give the power and like give the sound and like if I don't do that, then like there's been times where like I can feel like my jaw cramp up like mid line of a song, and I'm like, oh gosh. So like I got to make sure that I do that, and then that's basically all I do from the Zen of screaming is just the wow wow and the big face little face just to warm my jaws up. I don't scream. I don't do any sort of screaming. I just do that, and I do like a or a like that,
Yeah.
and that's mostly to like I'll like take a big breath or and I'll see how long I can do that. And I'll do that a couple of times, stretch my jaws out. That's it. I don't do any sort of loud screaming whatsoever.
Okay.
I mean, if you have to do that as a vocalist, then by all means do it. I don't think that it's good for your voice, but everyone's got
Yeah.
their own technique, and that's mine. I just don't do any sort of. I don't scream until I get out there on the stage and it's time to scream.
I love hearing everybody's routine because it is vastly different. There are some similarities, things people do, like the lip trills, like you just did. That's one I do, and I really like. And there's stuff that people do, but then you have like some of the older school people that just ripped it. They didn't do anything, and they would just be like, yeah, I would just go on stage and I would just yell really loud, and then that would be it. Like, hey, it worked.
Not good.
Like you toured 200 plus days a year. Apparently, it worked. Like, so you were doing something right.
Yeah, they had their own thing going. They figured something out.
So I'm guessing the aha moment for you definitely was just figuring out diaphragm, right? Like when you were kind of learning to do it, just figuring out kind of like you said, just pushing it on.
There was like that, and then there's another aha moment back in like 2019 or 2020. There was like a way because there'd be a lot of times where I would like do my vocals practicing, just do like mid-range vocals, and there would be like an undertone of like like that dry undertone that you get like a
Yeah.
you have to hear underneath the distortion. I found a way for myself to like get over that. And it was just like a different way. Like instead of screaming the words normally, I would add like a different inflection to the scream, I guess, to like get around that sound, that undertone of dryness. And so like yes, that made it a whole lot easier, especially like whenever I'm trying to record.
Okay.
Because like you sound like shit when you try to record and you sound like shit in your ears, it's very discouraging, and it makes you not perform well. Um, but also like when you record, I think it's very wise to like get your producer to add a little moisture to your voice, add a little reverb or something on there.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it was just the diaphragm, and then like the way to like I just found a way for myself to like make my vocals not sound as dry. I do just like a mid-range vocal.
All right. So your routine is just well, I mean, you kind of just told us your routine. There's nothing else you do for that routine. Does
I
it?
got the simple routine in the world.
So it's probably like what 10 minutes tops, and you're ready to roll.
I sometimes 5. I don't know. I literally just like I'll do the wow wow and the big face little face for like a minute, and then I'll do the or the zzz. I'll do that like a couple of times, 2 or 3 times to see how long I can hold out. And that's it. As long as I feel like, for the most part, as long as I feel like my jaws, like in here, if all that stuff is stretched out, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't have to test my screens. Sometimes I might do a guttural, whatever, just to see like that. That's like a good way to judge like the moistness, the moistness of my voice is like I'll do a guttural or like a low. That's it.
Do you change that at all if you're doing like I'm assuming not. I kind of already know the answer for tour, but if you're doing like a festival like a one-off or something, or you're going to the studio, or even if you're sick, do you change that routine at all, or is it pretty much the same?
I might I'll drink like some tea or something. Like if I start feeling congested or something throughout a tour, Um, like if I feel like congested, or like if I feel like dry, or my throat is hurting a little bit, um, which is common. It doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong. That's just how the body works. I might drink some tea, some with lemon and like ginger,
Yeah.
and like your typical vocal concoction, potion,
Okay. And tour, do
potion
you
setup.
do you kind of get in a? It's definitely a common thing I see. Like people will start, especially like say the first week of tour, you're kind of, if your voice isn't like broken's not the word I'm looking for, but like warmed up, I guess, if you will, if you haven't been doing them like consistently day in day out. After the first week, a lot of times most people won't really do a lot of warm ups because they're kind of like it's warmed up, it's going, like they're used to it, and they just
Yeah,
a well-oiled machine at that point, I guess, if you will, is just maintaining and
yeah,
going. Is that kind of
right.
how
I
you
mean,
are?
there is a point in tour where like you can feel like some fatigue in your voice, and then there is like a point where like you feel like, yeah, I'm good, I'm doing well, I'm going to do good tonight. It varies. It varies for me depending. I mean, I think it varies for all vocalists depending on like where you're at in the world, because the air that you breathe,
Yeah.
depending on where you're at in the world, really affects your voice. And screaming is not a normal thing to do. So like it's just like screaming sounds really stupid if it's not over some music. So like if the air around you is already screwing up your talking voice, and it's not going to be any better for your screaming voice.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I want to detour a little bit before we get into like. Well, actually, we'll go ahead. Vocal care, other than the T. Anything else? Or you pretty much just that's
No,
it? No. Okay. Easy,
it's like
easy peasy. Super.
I might I might stuck on a cough drop.
Okay. Vocal rest if you need to, I guess. If like absolutely.
Yeah, I try vocal rest. I'm not going to say I'm the most talkative person in the world, um, but yeah, I'm not the best with vocal rest. I just forget.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to playing, and I realize that like during the set, I'm like, okay, my lows are sounding like shit right now, so I need to compensate with something else. Like I'm good enough for like in the middle of the set, I'm like, okay, I need to do more of this instead of this because that's not sounding.
Yeah. Okay. That works. All right. All right. I want to hear the story of how the art come about. How did all this transpire for you? And I want to know how that's been, and also the commute, because like I said, we're here in Tennessee and you're flying to Australia pretty regularly, I'm guessing, or
I've been flying there at least twice a year. I mean, the commute is what it is. It's long. It probably takes like a total of at least 20 hours to get over there from Tennessee, at least. Jet lag, it happens. I'm better with it now. Like the jet lag isn't so bad getting there and coming back. The story is basically like it. I guess it kind of just started when I was in Version's Crown, because that's where when I was in Version's Crown, I played Download Festival in Australia. I played a couple of dates, and I met some of the Die Artist Murder guys, Andy included. And after that, I went back home, and a couple months later, I recorded the Hell Will Come for Us All Versions Crown album. And the guys, the Die Art guys, have heard some of it, and they just really like my voice. They were a big fan of my voice. So like, whenever a lot of the stuff was going down, and they needed somebody, they were like, "Well, who could do this?" And it was like between me and one other person. And like, I remember sitting in my living room. I was watching. I guess I was watching like Despicable Me, one of those movies with Quinn and Mersada, and I hadn't been doing anything in the band for like a year, because I left the guild, I left the Virgin's Crown, so I didn't do anything. And then I just got a random text from Andy, who's the guitar player. He also managed the Virgin's Crown too. That's also how he knew of the music and stuff. But he just got a random text from him one day, and it just said, "Hey man, what's up?" I was like, "What's up, man?" And he was asking if I had time for a quick phone call, and yeah, it went from there. And then I went from not doing anything for a year to that month like, or it was probably like a month later, I was going to record music, and then a week after I got home, I went and did that big European tour with Whitechapel and Fit for an Autopsy, and so I went from doing nothing into playing hour and a half long sets for I don't know, it was a month, and like those were like long stretches too. Like we would play 10 shows in a row, have a day off, play another 10 shows off, another 10 shows, day off. It's crazy.
Thrown right back into the fire after a year off. Like you.
Literal fire because we had pyro. That was my first time ever playing shows with pyro. Also, my first time playing shows with in-ear monitors because I come from the local bands underground world
Same.
where like most bands don't use in-ear monitors. You're
No.
playing local shows.
You just hope for a good PA that you can actually hear
Yeah, but
stuff.
locally we had a couple of days of pre-production, so I had time to get used to it, get everything set. Like, because usually, like you do pre-pro, you can get all your sound set up, and like, you get your ears set up on an iPad and like control every piece of the instruments.
How was
So
it transitioning?
a bit,
Was it pretty good transition into to in ears? Huge difference or
yeah. I mean, once I got it a good mix figured out, it was good, and it's. I don't think I would. I mean, I could still play without the. No, without them, excuse me, but like I probably wouldn't go back to not using them.
oh yeah.
Playing like the big shows that we play, like the venues and stuff we play, like it would be. I think it would be difficult to not have in ears. But I mean, I guess that's an excuse because you got all the big bands, the '80s bands and plays that were playing them. I don't know. Did they have in ear monitors in the '80s? I don't know if they did or not.
I don't feel like you saw in ears on like the old concerts and stuff with them.
I think I would do just fine, like hearing the songs, but like you've got like counts in between songs to know when stuff comes in and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. Like that's where like the production of the show matters is knowing like when to come in on time and like when you know how much time you've got to talk in between songs and all that stuff. So yeah, I probably wouldn't go back to not having.
Was it a little bit nerve wracking joining and just jumping in kind of like you said a pretty that's a
Yeah,
big tour like especially for like your first tour with them.
yeah, especially with all the drama that came along with it.
But that's awesome. That's such a cool story about you joining though. Like that's really really cool. We've heard some fun stories on here. Nick from Molotov filled in for a little bit with the art.
Yeah, yeah.
And he told some
He was
fun stories. He loves the dudes, so he a lot of fun. A lot of stories revolved around that, like fun things they did. We're gonna shift gears a little bit. We've been talking about vocals and throat and diaphragm and all that stuff. Let's talk about lyrics. Where do you pull from for lyrics? Do you do personal? Do you do conceptual? Do you kind of do like a mixed bag, like hybrid of both of them? Like, what is kind of your go-to when you're writing lyrics?
It's I have done some conceptual stuff before, but I feel like it's like I write my better lyrics whenever it's like inspired by something that's going on in the world. Typically, it's in the same style as like how fit for like past die art songs or like fit for an autopsy songs. Like it's stuff inspired by what's going on in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm big on like, I think making up stories is cool. I love fantasy novels and sci-fi novels and stuff like that. But like, as far as like when it comes to like writing lyrics for music and for the bands that I'm in, I don't want to make up stories, I guess. When I was in the guild, I wrote a bunch of lyrics about comic books and movies and
Okay.
video games and stuff. But for like other things, for like more personal stuff, it's inspired by what's going on in the world. Like I recently was writing some lyrics inspired by the what's going on over in Gaza, in Palestine and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's brought on some inspiration.
I feel like conceptual stuff's cool. In no way do I bash on conceptual. It's really cool. For me, I feel like it's more of an attachment, like especially with you screaming such an emotional thing, like yelling at somebody. Whenever you have like emotional attachment to the subject matter, it makes it a little easier to get into and get like that feeling with it, I guess, if you will, or get behind it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a lyricist that you look up to or that you admire?
I don't think I could really pin one down. I was a big fan of whatever I first got in the Fit for an Autopsy. It was album. was the first album with Joe on it. I can't remember what it was called. Absolute Hope, Absolute Hell. A lot of the lyrics on that album are awesome.
Okay.
So like I was getting a lot of inspiration from that too, as far as like how like structuring songs and I guess how to like try to make stuff sound cool. I think a lot of like things that I think lyrics hit the hardest when they sound cool. Like what you're saying sounds cool, and like you can come up with good hooks and stuff.
All right, hard question for you. This is the tough one. Favorite lyric? It can be one of your own, or it can be someone else's, or one of each if you have one. This is always tough just because it's hard to find a lyric.
I saw that question on our Instagram messages the other day, and I was thinking about it. And I've recently like went back and started listening to. And you live near Nashville. You know that you remember the band As Hell Retreats?
Yep.
The local band As Hell Retreats. Like they were like in the era with like A Plea for Purging and all that stuff. They have an album called Volition, which I freaking love.
Dude, I love that you're referencing As Hell Retreats right now. That makes me so happy.
It's one of my favorite metal albums, Volition. But there's like a little interlude type of song.
Wait, we might be thinking of the same album. Is this the? It's kind of a concept personal album. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
I do like concept albums when they're like personal and they mean something as far as like that. Like the whole concept of this album was like this person's mother passed away.
Yes.
He starts to lose faith in God, and then he tries to figure out what the meaning of the world is. He gets rejected by a pastor inside of a church. Then he like goes on this like downward spiral, tries to kill himself, and the last song is him in a coma. And there are the vocalist, I guess, portray that character. And the last song is called
I just
Only
had
Hope. And it's him. He's in a coma, unconscious, in a hospital bed. And there's 3 guest vocalists on it. And they're portraying the pastor, I guess his dad, and then someone else. There's a guy from the Gun Show in it, a guy from In the Midst of Lines, and then a singer from a band they had the word hands in their name. They were all Face Down Records bands.
Didn't that album get? Didn't Face Down refuse to release that album or something? Wasn't there like a deal with that?
They released it on another record label. I remember that. But
man,
lyrics.
The fact that you referenced this album makes me very, very happy. I jammed this album hard back in the day. Still love it.
It's a song after like he's like somewhere like where he's been like rejected by the pastor, and like he's went on like his little anger torrent or whatever, and I guess he's in a graveyard at this point. And he says, "As I walk near the black early grave," this is the line that I really liked from the song. He says, "A man of wisdom is who I see, not the one we talk about in the sky, but someone we spit on or deny because of greed, because of me." But he's talking, I guess he comes across a beggar, a homeless person, but he sees that this person has more faith and wisdom than himself and the pastor that he just got rejected by. So I think he kind of finds some faith in seeing that person. Like, even though they're living the life that they're living, they still have a faith that they're clinging to. So, like, a man of wisdom is who I see, not the one we talk about in the sky, but someone we spit on or deny because of greed. And I think that hits really hard because I think we don't treat the homeless people around us very, very warmly. I think we're kind of selfish to the homeless. I don't know. I've been listening to that album a lot recently, and for some reason that just stuck to me.
That's a great album. So I'll never forget my guitar player. Actually, he's my cousin. He was working with Brian Hood, who recorded that album when they did it. And I remember him calling me and just being like, "Hey," because we all knew As Hell Retreats, being around Tennessee stuff, playing shows and everything, knew the guys. He was like, this new As Hell Retreats album is insane. And he literally went through like the backstory you just did, talking about like the whole thing. I want to say Taylor, the bass player, I could be wrong, was a big inspiration. I think some of it was his stories and things that have happened, throughout his life. And they just kind of like wrote about that. But he was explaining on, and I think Brian Hood's sister, who Brian Hood, I'm not sure if you remember him or not.
Name sounds familiar.
He was the drummer for My Children McBride, and then he started becoming like a producer, engineer. He was up in Nashville 4, 5, 6 recordings maybe, or something like that. But I think his sister does the singing part in the song before the last song, before the coma. Like that little pretty like interlude. Yeah. But he told me the story, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. Now I listened to the album, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is such a good idea for an album.
Big. It was a very inspirational album for me. And sorry, I went up back in the day, especially like being in a local band, and like you're looking up at all these like bigger local bands, like in the underground scene or whatever. And like that album came out, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And they put out a song in 2022 that I didn't even know about, and I listened to it. It's really good.
They I guess, was Blake a part of that? Blake was like an original guitar player, but I think he had left before that album because he was like in Counterparts, and he's been busy. Or maybe not Counterparts. He was in 100th. That's what it was. He was in 100th. He was in, I don't know. He's been in so many bands jumping around. Right now he's with, I can't think of the band. Starts with a C.
I saw something about that the other day.
But he's playing guitar in one of those bands. And then Tyler, the other guitar player in As Hell Retreats, is in Gideon.
Chiodos is what he's playing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. But, I mean, it's good to see those dudes still going. But, man, they were good. They were a good band live. And that was a killer album.
Good band.
And that was blast down memory lane. That was awesome. Very good reference. All right. So, I was not prepared for that favorite lyric. I love how we were going like death metal, all this other stuff, and then As Hell Retreats.
Very small lyric, I guess, but I like it.
No, yeah, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It could be a local band, it could be anything, just it's what resonates with you and what like, stands out to you. So I really dig that. Okay, so new songwriters, new vocalists, all that stuff, writing lyrics, everything. What kind of tips do you have for them as far as like patterns, flow, cadence, all that stuff? Do you have any tips?
I would say, I mean, if you're just an aspiring vocalist that doesn't have a band, then obviously like practice in your car to the bands that you listen to and love. Listen to the vocalists that you love. Learn how to scream that way, and then develop your own voice from there. And then when you find yourself in a band and you get to the point where like songs are made, make sure that these songs are recorded so that you can have access to them via like Dropbox or whatever, and then listen to them relentlessly, write your lyrics along with the song, and then write your lyrics along with the song, and then just practice them relentlessly, practice the patterns as many ways as you can, and do it as cool as you can too. Make it sound as cool as you possibly can, but also make sure that it fits within like the frame of the song. I wouldn't say like go overboard all the time, but like just try to do what the song calls for.
Song should be number one at all times. What's best for a song?
Yeah, it's like you are the vocalist, you are the face of your band, but you are not the band.
Yeah.
You are not the song. You are not the music. You're a part of it.
Okay. Great advice. Great advice right there. All right. Fun question for you. What's harder, being a vocalist or being a frontman? Because there is a difference. And
frontman.
Frontman. I feel like that is the common thing, because everyone's pretty much like, you can, for the most part, you can teach people how to scream properly and like how to sing, how to do vocals. But having that charisma and like talking and like keeping things flowing and knowing, keeping people engaged, entertained is a little trickier.
Right. Yeah. I'm always like, dude, I have when I play these long sets, like it's to the point where like I can scream the songs. I can think like a line or two ahead as far as like how I'm going to scream this line, whatever. And I'm also having thoughts about, okay, what am I going to say or do in this gap between this song? That's like a lot of the thoughts that I have. And sometimes the gaps aren't long enough with what I want to say. And sometimes I just have my days where I'm like, I'm not feeling as like extroverted. I think everybody has their days. I think if you're going to be a vocalist, you've got to be extroverted, be entertaining. You've got to be a showman. You've got to be able to command the audience. You've got to be able to get the audience to show the audience that they can have a good time. I think the metal community is such an awesome community where people come together and listen to this type of music that not a lot of that like I would say not a lot of people listen to, because of, like the world is ruled by pop and country and rap and all this other stuff. But like I will call out a lot of the metal community with the fact that like you get to the show, everybody's like, oh, I can't wait for this show. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's a metal show. And then the first band plays, and then you realize that everyone is just kind of like awkwardly standing around and not doing anything, or like they're too bashful to like bang their head, do the typical metal things that you should do at the metal show, I guess. Um, I think there is a sort of awkwardness barrier that you have to break, for one, break yourself out of, and because you are the one that everyone's looking at. But there's an awkwardness barrier that you've got to break through with the audience and like get them to move and to have a good time because they're coming to see you, and you are an entertainer. I think that's an aspect of playing in a band that a lot of people in bands forget or don't think about. I think especially like in your early days, you think of like, I'm in this band, I'm going to play these songs for these people and whatever. I can't wait to play these shows with these other bands and all this other stuff. I think you forget that people are paying a price to come see you entertain them. It's like you're not just a band or a vocalist or guitar player, band member, whatever. You're like an entertainer, and you've got to do everything that you possibly can to like get the room, get the crowd moving and involved. And like if you've got to break them out of their shell, then break them out of it. Then everyone can break out of their shells together.
Yeah. This starts when one person starts, that's when usually like domino effects. Like
Yeah, it's usually in the beginning. There's always the first band that plays. The first band that plays, you know, is always like that's the warm up band. It's going to get everybody going. But like sometimes people just aren't like feeling it, I guess.
yeah.
But you know, every show is different. You just got to get out there and do your job. If you can get out there and you feel like you've done your job, then like what else can you do about it? You know,
Yeah.
every crowd's different. But just remember that you are there to entertain and to get the crowd moving and involved and have fun.
Absolutely. So, off the top of your head, who are three of the top frontmen that you can think of that just do a great job commanding and running the show, getting the crowd engaged?
People that I've seen, Garrett from Silent Planet. He's a very good front man. Trying to think. As far as like, I'm thinking in terms of like constantly talking, being powerful on stage, low awkwardness level. Like there's no like I'm thinking of all these things that are people that are impactful. So there's Garrett from Silent Planet. Um, I think Ryan Fit for King. He's really good. Is that your child?
Yeah. Oh, could you hear him?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Um,
In the background, yelling about who knows what, practicing his vocals. You've inspired him.
I mean, Joe from Fit for an Autopsy, he's really good too. Because like you can be a good vocalist and you can get up there and say things between songs, but like I don't know if it's just the fact that I'm a vocalist and frontman, but I feel like if you're stumbling, feeling awkward and stuff, people can notice that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm thinking in terms of like people that get up there and then just like kill it.
There's like a confidence you have to have, like,
Yeah,
you know, because if you're not confident, like you said, and you're stumbling and you're like kind of fumbling through like everything, and you don't look like you really believe what you're saying, or you're just kind of going through the motions, people see that, like it shows.
yeah. I mean, there are lots of bands that I saw at like Knotfest when I played that have that presence too. Also, just like some people's presence is just based on the package of their band. They
Yeah.
really don't have to do much.
Yeah.
Um,
There's some vocalists that
uh,
don't even really talk in between songs. It's just kind of like you said, the
yeah,
presence, the package, like how they do.
if the band is doing the job and the production's doing the job, sometimes you don't got to do very much, but besides like get the crowd pumped up and get them to do shit for you. Phil from Whitechapel has a presence on stage when he plays. They usually got some crazy ass lights going, and like he's just, of course, he's like OG legend of that style of music. But he's got a presence to him. But I don't know. Garrett from Silent Planet, I saw them play a long time ago in Knoxville, and like he was just like such a good representation of what a front man should be, and he's very inspirational too.
Okay, love it. Some good people there you listed. Okay, so this next one's fun, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this. But we all know when we write vocals that in the studio we tend to not think about how we're going to do this live. Like when you're writing the different parts, breath and all that stuff. So is there a part that you don't hate but you dread? You're just like, or you know it's coming up, you're like, this is rough. Like kind of mentally like preparing yourself. And vice versa, there's a part that you love that you're just like always excited to do live.
I love. I think we might be throwing it back in for the Euro tour. I love playing Slaves Beyond Death. That's just such a good head banging song, and it's very groovy, and it's just easy to move to. I love playing that. Um, there's a line in our song "Godlike." It's like the second verse. It's that verse that like I prepared myself for. I'm like it's like the verse in the song where I probably do like 10 different vocal things in one verse. So I like playing that. I remember there was one thing I do love playing the song, but there's like parts of it where I'm like, oh man, like if I'm not like if my jaws aren't feeling up to it, it's kind of hard to get through a human target. It's it was like, did the holes open the cage, play over bodies and I'm monkey, but I don't need a soldier. It's just it's a mouthful.
Whenever you're writing these, do you ever think about like, damn, why did I do this to myself? Why did I put this? Like I didn't think about this live. Like it sounds sick on the record.
I will say I didn't write those, but this last one that came out, like it was like it's very much written in mind of like being able to do it. Like I don't think we do things that can't be done live,
Yeah.
which is nice. So anything that you can hear on the songs, I can replicate it just fine.
Okay.
It's just that one part on Human Target is like I've got to make sure that like I have like my breaths are perfectly placed.
Yeah. That's a big thing because I mean, dude, those fast parts like that are brutal. They're so brutal.
Well, that's good. Where your breath control comes in too. Like if you get a good breath, you've got your reserve in there, and you can scream things, stop, scream some more on that same breath. Like you can scream a lot and do different things, and like screaming and lots of stops in that one breath.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so it's a fun question. Now we're gonna get to some of the goofy fun questions for you. This one is inspired by Adam D and Kyle Medina of Body Snatcher. He always gets a shout out from it because it's kind of a goofy one. But do you have a favorite call out, like a mosh call, anything like that? Do you have one that stands out, and why it's inspired by them? Because you have like your normal, you know, what everybody says, like get moving, whatever, opens place up, you know, all this normal stuff, right? And then you have like the Adam D stuff that's just completely like out of left field, or you're like, what the hell did he just say? Kind of thing. and then everything hits. And Kyle does that as well.
Yeah, Adam D is always hilarious.
That dude's brain needs to be studied. He's
Yeah,
a
he's
musical
crazy.
genius. First off, like, dude's insane.
Yeah, he's crazy. I guess I'd probably say the funniest thing that I've done is I was trying to get a circle pit going, and I tell everybody to run around like they had to. I said, "Run around like you got the zoomies, you bunch of fucking dogs." I was like, "Show me." I was like, "Show me those zoomies." I was like, "Run your fucking dogs."
Did you get made fun of for the accent by the band?
No, no, no. They just thought the whole thing was funny.
That's awesome. I love that one. That's a really good one. Okay. Sports inspired question. I don't know. I didn't even ask you. Are you? I mean, you're close to Knoxville. Are you? No sports. Okay.
No sports, man. I know it's boring. I suck.
No, it's not boring. It's.
I mean, the land of college football. I know.
Yeah, you're up there in the thick of it, pretty much.
Yeah,
Lots of orange up there.
Not a sports guy.
Okay, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Okay, so sports inspired question though. Do you have any pre-show or pre-studio rituals? And what I mean by that, like, it can be anything from, I have to wear a certain pair of socks, or I have to drink. I use this as a reference just because this was like one I haven't heard before, but I had one person say they like to drink light blue Gatorade in the studio. Why, I don't know, but like, it can be, and it's been as stuff as simple as like, well, me and the rest of the band do like a fist bump beforehand. Or we don't say have a good show until we leave the city because we don't want to jinx like having a good show. Like, just stuff like that.
When I record, I mean, it's usually just drinking water. Sometimes I'll drink a beer if I feel like I need something crispy in my throat. Before we play, I just like to make sure that I've got a black long sleeve shirt. It's like my get up is just like black. But my shirt has to be a black long sleeve shirt.
Why long sleeve?
I don't know.
How do you not? Man, I could never wear long sleeves or hoodies. Those that wear like hoodies and stuff on stage, I sweat too much for that. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I don't do it. I've never done a hoodie, but it's always black long sleeve.
Okay.
I do sweat all the way through it most of the time, but yeah, that's just the look for me, I suppose.
Okay. All right. That works. All right. So, is there a favorite show you've done that comes to mind?
We played the Roundhouse in London. It's just we played that to like, I think it was probably like 3,500 people or something like that. But it's just in your spare time, I just advise you to look it up. This is a very pretty venue on the inside. It's a big circle with like these pillars that come down in the middle of the room. The stage is huge. There's like upper balcony seats and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It's crazy. And it's right there. It's right there right there in like Camden in London. So like the Camden Market's right down the road. It's a really, really cool place to like walk around and hang out. But the venue's super sick.
Okay.
Rock am Ring. No, or was it Rockin' Park? I think it was Rockin' Park. We played. I think we probably played to. I thought it was much less, but I was told that it was probably like 70,000, 80,000 people, which is nuts.
That's crazy. Any nerves before that many people?
No.
Just kind of do your thing at this point.
After a certain amount of people, it just all starts looking the same.
I mean, it loses some of the intimacy, I guess, from like playing like the smaller venues where people are like in your face.
Different. It's harder to play for a room of 200 to 300 people than it is to play for a festival of thousands of people.
Okay. Just because of that intimacy, like the closeness of it, or what?
Yeah, the intimacy, you just got to be more connected, I think.
Okay. Because I mean, you can't really like look at many people in the eyes and 70,000. You're just looking at a sea of bodies everywhere.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Sorry, my wife is texting me. I'm not ignoring you.
Oh no, you're completely fine. So favorite place to play? I know we have favorite show. Is there like a favorite city?
I like Munich. Munich a lot. Playing the backstage at Munich is awesome. We played somewhere in Switzerland. I can't remember where it was, but I remember that city being awesome. It was such a beautiful day. boats on the water by the harbor and just walking around the city is awesome. I can't remember. I wish I could remember what that city was called. It was in Switzerland.
Okay.
Um, Prague. Playing in Prague is always beautiful. Walking around there is great. I would say Prague is probably like one of my favorite cities to walk around in. It's just beautiful.
Okay. How was Knotfest? That's in Australia, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, the ones we played were in Australia. It was
Every
good.
video I've
We
seen, it
played
looks like it was stupid hot. Like everybody looks like they're just
Melbourne.
roasting.
Melbourne. I think it was Melbourne. That one was the hot one. But I also think I had too much coffee beforehand, so I had a lot of anxiety. The caffeine was not working in my favor because the catering tent had a guy that was just making whatever coffee you wanted, and I drank like I think I drank two quad shots, so I had 8 shots of espresso. It's not a good idea. Don't do that.
But was the fest pretty good though over there?
Yeah, the festival was great. All those shows were awesome.
Okay. Nice. Do you have any fun tour stories that you can share that can see the light of day?
Uh,
So I know there's definitely stuff that even if like band's not wild or anything, there's stuff that probably should stay on the road that should get talked about.
yeah, I mean myself, I'm not a very wild person, dude. Like I'm pretty boring. Like I'll just like I do the typical stuff. Like get there, get up, go see the green room, catering, whatever I got to do, and then whatever city we're in, I'll just go explore. Um, I don't know. I can't really think of anything
That's cool
crazy
though.
that
You
comes to
appreciate where you're at. You're getting to like it's lifelong memories. You know, you like you said, you're
mind.
exploring. You talk about Prague, all these different places you've been. That's really cool though. That's like one of the big perks of what you do.
And we usually, I mean, after we play, uh, I usually just shower, get my stuff, and I go back to the bus, lay down, dude. I'll read or do something, hang out, watch a movie, or eat a snack. I don't, I'm, I don't know. I'm not too crazy, man.
So no fun stories with the guys, them doing anything fun or
Uh,
I've
no,
had
just
two Canada stories. One of them involved almost hitting a moose of all things,
yeah.
and then the other one was talking about a pass and how I told it was actually Jesse from Misery Signals. I was telling him about it because he was just like, you know, we're pretty chill. We don't really do anything. And then I told him about that story, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and he was telling me about this crazy pass in Canada. It's like really hard to get through, and he's like, it's really kind of sketchy driving through it. And he's like, you have to go through to go to some city, and so he had like that story. So there's all kinds of stuff. It doesn't have to be anything like Motley Crue, obviously. It's
Um, I mean, we were on our way to Rome during the festival season last not this past summer, but the summer before, and bus broke down when we were on the side of the highway for like all day long, and then somehow we got the bus up and running, and we made it to the show like 30 minutes before we had to play.
oh,
But like we were just like, I can't
that's a
remember like
stressful day.
what part we were in. It was like, yeah, it was just really cool. It was like an hour outside of Rome, and we were just on the side of the highway, and there was just like bags of shit hanging on the fence for some reason, which is known as like a hot bag. Um, I don't know where those came from, but like,
What do people just
uh,
stop and put them there or something? Like how does that work?
I guess I don't know. They just throw them out the window. Probably another band did it on their bus and threw it out the window. Uh, when I was in Aversion's Crown, we apparently almost died. Whenever I almost died whenever I was in my sleep because one of the band members in another band came back. He was like super drunk. He was also had a lot of mental issues, but like he went into like where the bus driver was driving, and he yanked the steering wheel, grabbed the steering wheel, and yanked it, and we apparently went over like 4 lanes of traffic.
Oh
And
wow.
luckily we didn't hit anybody, or there wasn't any accidents, but like that was like a big ordeal, and then that guy got sent home the next day.
Oh,
So
I'm sure.
I could have died my first time overseas.
That's crazy. Since we're on the subject of touring, what kind of advice would you give for musicians that are looking to get into touring and everything? Because we all know it's not for everybody. It's not. obviously you're talking about seeing a lot of cool stuff, but it's not all like fun things. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's rough. It's rough. You're leaving your families.
Just make sure that you are really ready for it, and that your family, if you have one, is ready for it, because like you do spend quite a bit of time away, and that's the sacrifice. The sacrifice is being away from the people that you know and love while they are back at home and like their lives are moving on, I guess, or moving forward. I'm not saying that your life's not moving forward, but like you're missing time with them. So just make sure that you're okay with missing like precious moments with people that you love, like birthdays and anniversaries and all this other stuff.
Okay. Good advice.
And make sure you got your finances and your bills and stuff in order too. Don't don't put yourself in a rut.
Yeah. So what's next for the art? What do you guys have planned currently that you can share? Obviously.
Right now, we just got we got the European tour coming up next month. 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and then another 3 weeks with Parkway Drive, Amity Affliction. Next year, 2026, we're doing festivals again in like August. But before then, there is something coming up in 2026, the first half of 2026. I can't really talk about it,
okay.
but there is something happening.
Okay. So you heard it first. Keep your eyes out for announcements.
Maybe in America, we'll see.
Ooh, okay. Love hearing that. So, and I'm sure that'll get announced on the band's Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, it'll probably get announced by before the end of the year. I would say,
okay,
because you want to have time for ticket sales to build up. So
okay, so there you go. You heard it first.
If not by the end of the year, probably the first of next year.
That's it. Can't wait to see what it is. I'm stoked. All
right,
right,
it'll be awesome.
All right, I have took up a lot of your time, so I have 2 more things for you, and then I will let you go about your day, sir. I really appreciate it. But first and foremost, what I like to do is just kind of let you plug anything and everything you want to plug. Band, yourself, whatever. Floor is yours. Promote away. If there's anything you would like to plug.
And really, just go listen to the band. And if you want to follow me, my Instagram is TMillerKiller. That's really it.
Hey, easy enough. Nice. All right. And then how I like to end this, I like to give you a floor again. Aspiring vocalist, or maybe a vocalist that's been at it a little bit, like intermediate, or even a veteran that's been doing it forever. What kind of advice would you give to them to help them either get into being a vocalist or get over a hump, or take it to the next level? What kind of advice can you give the vocalists out there?
I mean, at this point, the way social media is, music is a lot different now. The way that you got to like get yourself out there to like popularize like your music. So, I don't know. You just got to put yourself out there. You've got to take the action to like make videos of yourself and like network. Really, I mean, I don't know. And it's the landscape is very different than what it was 10 years ago. I played local shows in local bands for like 15 years before anything happened in my career. When I was in the guild, the guys from Aversion's Crown found me online. They found me on Instagram. So I went from that. I did the guild and Aversion's Crown together. So I went from that to doing a tour with Aversion's Crown on a double-decker bus in Europe. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, big upgrade. And then whenever I quit both the bands, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to play metal anymore. And then now look at me. I jumped from that to this. I just took big leaps based on like people that just because I knew people. So you just got to put yourself out there, and you've got a network. That's just the name of the game when it comes to the music industry.
Okay, nice.
I know that's probably no new advice, but that's just how it is.
What about leveling up as far as like vocally goes, or any kind of advice for them with the screaming or singing, either one?
It's really just practice in your car. What you want, if determine like what you want to do, what you want to sound like. Find a vocalist that's already like doing the things that you want to do, so that you can try to replicate them, and then find your voice from there.
Okay, I love it.
And
How?
please focus on your diaphragm when you learn how to scream. Everything, scream from your stomach. Control with this. Don't scream from this, or you'll have a bad time.
Very true. How is it? Well, I mean, obviously, the art is not a small band, of course, but how is it going from kind of like you said, local bands and everything, and 10, 15 years of doing that and promoting and building a band, 10, 15 years ago to now? Like, it's social media is king. It's vastly different, like content.
Well, kind of just I jumped into an already established band,
Yeah.
so I kind of got lucky and blessed to be able to do that. Um, I'll say blessed, maybe not so much lucky, because I'm not going to downplay. Excuse me, I'm not going to downplay the work that I put in to like be noticed. I guess I put in a lot of time, and some of those like later on in that time, I was like, I don't know how much longer I can do this,
Yeah.
But then I just got everything came together. I got blessed by being put in this band.
Yeah. Okay. It's
But the band does the same thing. You just go on tour. We promote our tours. Use our media guy to put videos and all this other stuff on our socials.
Isn't it crazy you have to have a media guy now? Like that's like a staple in bands.
We could. I mean, yeah, I don't think we could do it. We could, but I don't think anybody would want to do it. But we have a good guy that does it. And, he does a very good job.
It's just crazy how like that's the landscape. I remember the days of like handing out flyers and stuff, like come to the show, this local show, or now it's. I don't know that people really do that because everything's online. You reach more people, posted on Instagram or wherever, promoting shows and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a whole different landscape. It's pretty wild now.
Yeah.
It's
Really.
good and bad. I mean, it's
Yeah. Now you gotta post your cringy TikTok videos.
yes.
You just gotta suck it up and do it.
And one thing I preach on here, because a lot of bands are searching for viral moments, right? Like we've seen it happen. Like you're talking about the animal noises, different things. Like who can do that just catches fire? And obviously it does translate. They get listeners, monthly listeners, all those analytics that are important now. But that does not translate to people at the venue. Like, the old school like tour mentality where people are like just on the road building fan bases, going to cities. That's still very big, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean everybody that's basically the landscape right now. Is you've got to have your viral moment in order for. I mean, even back then too. I mean, like what was Thy Art's viral moment whenever Hate came out, Reign of Darkness, whatever. But like you've got to have like a viral internet moment right now on TikTok or something. I mean, that's what happened to Lorna Shore, obviously, with To the Hellfire. Um, that kind of exploded the deathcore scene, which is good because I think that was like I'm not gonna say it was dying, but it was not in the limelight at all.
Right. Yeah.
For the most popular thing in the world, and now it's like people who listen to heavy metal like that stuff now,
Yeah.
and like they're gravitating more towards it, which is really cool. So like they've kind of put like that genre on the map, which is awesome. But yeah, you just gotta put the work in. You gotta suck it up, do some cringy things, and then think of the long term. I think it's a good thing that the band that I'm in has done is they've thought of the long term viability of the band. So I mean, the band is still going strong. I know there's probably some people out there that are like, "Oh, this band's still going after all the drama that's happened." But I mean, we're still going. I'm still traveling all over the world. I get paid to do it, so I don't. I mean, you
Doing
can be
something
mad if
right.
you want. Yeah, you can be mad if you want, but yeah, just got to think of the long term too.
All right. Well, I'm stoked to hear the announcement whenever that is, and thank you so much, Tyler, for coming on and for chatting. It's been an honor. It's been awesome talking to you, and
Of course.
I've had a few Tennessee natives, but it's nice to always have another Tennessee voice on here. So really appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time. Seriously.
Of course, man. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you all so much for watching or listening to this episode of Behind the Vocals featuring Tyler Miller of Thou Art Is Murder. Please be sure to check out all Tyler's links down below for Thou Art Is Murder, as well as his personal Instagram, and keep an eye out for announcements and tour dates coming to a city near you. Thank you all so much for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys and gals on the next one.